welcome to Legal Affairs. My name is Diamond Liddy, and I'm the public defender of the 19th Judicial Circuit. And we have one of my favorite people in the whole wide world with us on the show. And he is going to tell us about the career change he has just made. And I think probably everyone on the Treasure Coast and in this circuit want to know about this. My very dear friend who I respect with the most is Vern Melvin. Welcome, Vern.
Thank you, Diamond. It's good to see you again. The respect obviously is mutual. We go back a long ways.
Oh yeah.
A lot of good memories.
Oh no, it is good memories. It is good memories.
Absolutely.
You have had a career change, but you know some people don't even know about it yet because it's been so recent. But please, for those who don't know your career and what you've done through your life, which is so incredibly wonderful, give us a synopsis of where you started and then where you are now, please. Well, wait a minute. We only got a half hour. No, go ahead.
That would take a while. Actually, I started out as a house parent on the night shift at a juvenile delinquency reformatory. Was going to do that for a short period of time. I had dropped out of a local community college. I was not taking life seriously. I was about 20 years old, that sort of thing.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ended up staying at that reformatory for a short period of time. Went to the day shift. Eventually got married shortly after that, got serious about life, went back to college, and knew what I wanted to do based on that experience working with juvenile delinquents, and that was to be a social worker. And so that's what I did, and I actually came back to that juvenile reformatory as a social worker.
And where did you go to school, and where was the reformatory, Vern?
Reformatory back then was called the Florida School for Boys at Okeechobee.
Oh, okay.
Eventually became the Eckerd Youth Development Center in Okeechobee.
Right,
actually. But I went to undergraduate school at University of Alabama in Birmingham, double major in sociology and criminal justice. And then just a few years ago, got my master's in conflict resolution.
Wow.
But back then, as I said, I came back as a social worker. Eventually, worked my way up to superintendent of the facility. Then it got contracted out. I decided to stay with the state. Worked with the department back then, HRS. You remember HRS?
Oh yeah.
Health and Rehabilitative Services. As a program specialist and a program administrator. And then when the legislature separated out juvenile delinquency services from HRS back in '92 and established the Department of Juvenile Justice, I became the first juvenile justice administrator for Circuit 19.
Right.
And then in 2000, I went over to the Department of Children and Families as the district administrator for this 4-county area, and in 2000,
because this is important, for the 4-county area, which is
Circuit 19,
Okeechobee, Stewart, Martin, and Vera Beach.
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
So go ahead.
Correct. And then, so I did about a 12-year stint there. Retired for almost 20 months. Thoroughly enjoyed retirement.
Right.
As it turns out, I was not one of those individuals who says, I'm bored, I need something to do. I really did enjoy retirement after almost 40 years, in child welfare. And then an opportunity surfaced unexpectedly with the Guardian Ad Litem program here in this circuit.
Right.
To become the director for the Guardian Ad Litem program for Circuit 19.
Right.
Probably my best friend, Alan Abramowitz, is the state director. And so he contacted me and asked me if I would consider it. And he said there are 2 reasons why you should consider this, Vern. Number 1, it's not DCF and it's not as stressful because we've both done that. We've both done that.
Right.
And number 2, we'll be together again. It'd be fun.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh man, you know, so it's like I decided to come back, sort of climb back into child welfare arena in that role. And then, as you have alluded to, just recently, in fact, 2 weeks ago, I made the decision to return to the Department of Children and Families.
Okay. And but you're just not returning to the Department of Children and Families. I'm just like blown away. You are, okay, the regional managing director for DCF, Department of Children and Families, and that region is the 19th Circuit, all 4 counties, Palm Beach County, and Broward County, correct?
Correct.
Oh my God, Vern. What were you thinking? No, talk to us. Tell us. Why? Why?
I have been getting that question quite often. Usually right after a number of people say some kind words, such as, great to see you back, Vern.
Congrats.
Looking forward to working with you. That's usually followed by, what in the world were you thinking? Why did you decide to do this?
Well, and just let me interrupt you for a second.
Mm-hmm.
What a tremendous honor. What a tremendous, I mean, in the world, and I love the way you call all these, the HRS, DCF, Guardian Ad Litem, Juvenile Justice. You package these as the child welfare system.
Correct.
And I'm sure that's not a phrase that you coined, but I never thought of it like that, but that's exactly what it is. It's the child welfare system. And what an honor to be slated to be in charge of such a large area that handles child welfare. So anyway, this is a big deal. But go ahead. So tell us why. I interrupted you.
Leadership in DCF in Tallahassee contacted me about 4 weeks ago. And these, when I say leadership in Tallahassee, the secretary, the deputy secretary, and other members of the leadership team are individuals that I know very well.
Right.
And were colleagues of mine during my tenure in DCF for that 12 years.
Right.
I have, from the time Governor Scott appointed Secretary Carroll to that position to almost maybe 3 years ago now, I have consistently told anybody who's inquired as to what I thought of the new leadership team. My response has been, I think it's probably the most competent, best leadership team I have seen in DCF headquarters in probably in my career. And I've worked
Yeah.
with some good secretaries and teams.
Right.
But when I look at the lineup there and know their background, their history, they're veterans, they're committed to the best interest of children and families of the state of Florida, then to be asked to consider rejoining the agency as part of that team, for me was probably the tipping point.
Right.
Which is the reason when I got the call, my first response was, well, I didn't expect this. And then secondly, it was, can I have a couple of days to think about it?
Oh, yeah.
And so I did. And after thinking it over, I decided that maybe, just maybe, I've got one more rodeo left in me.
Right.
And if I was going to do it again, this would be the team I would want to be a part of.
Well,
these are individuals I have so much respect for.
Right. Well, and how exciting, I see it from your perspective, absolutely. How exciting to, join a team. You're not doing cleanup. You're not trying to change it because it's in shambles.
Right.
It's a great machine that you have the capability and opportunity to just make even greater. And boy, do we need that, because come on. As you said, we've been doing this a long time, and HRS, DCF, you know, they're almost bad words. But if we can, you know, the pendulum has swung.
Right.
There's
It
no
has.
question, and I've seen
Right.
it in what I do.
Right.
And to have the opportunity to make it swing even more, so child welfare in our region and in the state is sound and good and the way it should be. Oh my gosh, I get it. You know, it's how exciting. How exciting. And I'm probably well, believe me, I'm probably one of the few that gets it. But I do. Let's go back for a second. Now, I believe I'm correct in saying DCF was the old HRS.
Correct.
Pretty much.
Correct.
Health and everybody knows that's been, you know, that's
Sure.
lived.
Sure.
What exactly does HRS DCF do?
I think John Q. Citizen out there, the general public, tend
Right.
to associate DCF with primarily child welfare.
Right.
And probably child welfare protective investigations
Right.
whenever there's allegations of abuse, abandonment, or neglect. The department has to get involved and make a determination on, number one, are the allegations true? You know, can they be substantiated?
Right.
And if that's the case, then what should be the next course of action? The department wants to, whenever possible, contrary to what might be a different perception, the department wants to keep families together,
Right.
provide services,
Right.
you know, to keep the children safe and to make sure the children's needs are being met, as
Right.
well as the families.
And that is such a, you know, pervasive misconception, if you
Right.
will, that you are the big bad, you know, bureaucratic, you know, organization that's going to come in and rip the children from the parents' arms and take them and put them in foster care, and nothing could be farther from the truth. You're going to, and I've seen it where I'm like, are you kidding me? Why in the world would you advocate to give that child back to these parents that don't
Right.
deserve it? But you do that more than you err on the other side, correct?
Yeah, we really do. For example, probably almost half of the calls made to the hotline that
Right.
are investigated, there's a determination that there's probably little or no evidence to support the allegation.
Right.
So then the case
Right.
is closed.
Right.
So you have all sorts of things going on. You know, you have spouses involved in divorce cases.
Yeah.
In family court, that sort of thing, making allegations against each other. Neighbors who get upset with each other. Sometimes we'll call that whatever it is. You know, but for those cases that are accepted, or calls to the hotline that are accepted and investigated, and there's a determination that there is some evidence of abuse, abandonment, or neglect, then the next decision-making point is, are the children safe if we leave them there and provide services,
Right.
or do they need to be removed? And probably 15-20% are actually removed.
Okay.
So it's a fairly small number.
But that doesn't mean forever. It means
No.
you're still gonna try and give the family services, guidance,
Absolutely.
counseling, whatever, to reunite them, but at least temporarily, in the best interest of the child or children, you feel they should be out of the home.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the goal always is reunification. There
Right.
can be some exceptions, but as a rule, it is reunification.
Right.
Which means the parents get a case plan, and the department's responsibility is to do what we can to ensure that they get the services they need to stabilize that
Yeah.
family unit.
To be successful.
To be
Yeah.
successful. Whenever children are removed, the bottom line is, for a child, home is wherever that parent or parents are.
Right.
It's not a house somewhere on some street. It's where that person is.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, we've seen it over the years, almost regardless of the abuse or neglect, children want to go back home.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they want to be back with that individual. But with DCF, as I indicated, we normally think of it in the child welfare terms, but it's much broader than that also. We're also responsible for food stamps, Medicaid, child care licensing,
God, I know.
adult protective investigations, and
So
adult
when there's
protective
abuse or
services
neglect of an
the
elderly person, right?
We're responsible for that also. So it's a fairly large umbrella, to...
God, I had forgotten. I mean, I think if you quizzed me, I would have been able to,
Right.
but give me the answer and say, is that true or false?
Right.
Yeah, but to add that, I'd say child welfare,
Exactly.
abused
Sure.
and neglected
Sure.
children. Oh my gosh.
Sure. Yeah, for example, in our southeast region, we have provided services to a little over 1 million people in this past year who were on food stamps or Medicaid. So it's, like I said, it's pretty broad.
Okay, I have 2 questions, and I shudder to think of the answers. Number 1, what is your budget for this?
The budget for the southeast region,
Right,
which
right.
involves all services,
Right.
is a little over 300 million.
Whoa.
305 to be exact, and I have now right at 1,000 employees.
That was my next question. Is
Yeah.
that all? Oh, well.
Whenever a couple of weeks ago when I sent out an email to staff, explaining that I'm the new regional director, that sort of thing, and I was looking forward to working with
Yeah.
them. And and one of the things I said was, I want to get around and I want to try to meet all of you as soon as possible.
Right.
Having said that, I realized there are 1,000 of you, so it may take me a while, visiting several times.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the 6-county area.
Now, you don't do the actual hire. You have a director of each of the circuits, correct?
Yes.
And they, like I have a head attorney in Fort
Correct.
Pierce that oversees,
Correct.
and it's ultimately on me and it trickles up to me, but they're going to do, well, they don't do the hiring and firing in my circumstance because I'm much smaller, but in your case, I'm sure you're not hiring and firing all the
No.
individuals.
No. We have program administrators. As you said, we do have
Right.
one point person in each one of the circuits.
Got it. Okay.
community
Who is the
development-
point person in this circuit?
Bob McPartlin. Robert
Okay.
McPartlin.
Okay.
And Bob's been with the department
Yeah.
probably 10 or 12 years or so. Bob's also the mayor of Sebastian.
Really?
Yeah, he lives in Sebastian, and Bob's the mayor of Sebastian. Yeah,
Oh, I
exactly.
didn't know that. Oh my gosh.
Great guy. Great
Yeah.
guy. Has a lot of contacts,
Right.
throughout the 4-county area. But he's the point person for this circuit, and I have his counterpart in Palm Beach and also in Broward.
Okay.
So they're busy people.
Do you know the other point people in Palm Beach and Broward as well? Did you know them prior to taking this
I
job?
knew the point person in Palm Beach
Right.
because I served on a board for the Southeast region, the Mental Health and Substance Abuse Board, managing entity, and Clay Walker, the point person for Palm Beach County, always attended those monthly board meetings. So,
Right.
so I got to know him there. Quite a few of the employees certainly in Circuit 19.
You know.
I know very well. And in Palm Beach, I know a lot of the leadership team members there.
Okay.
Because part of my career was spent working out of the Palm
Right.
Beach office
Right.
many years ago. I've also been the acting district administrator down there before,
Right.
that
Right.
sort of thing. Broward is one that where I know probably fewer of the stakeholders, and I'm having to spend more time down there making sure that I'm able to establish those working relationships and trying to determine what I can do to be the part of the team down there to meet the needs of the children and families of Broward County also.
Wow.
With DCF.
And that's, oh my gosh. If you feel comfortable saying, and you don't have to, I mean, it's not, wouldn't be a slap in, well, I don't know. You answer it or not. What of the three, what do you think is going to be the most challenging?
I think they're all pretty much equally challenging.
Okay.
I really do.
There's not more abuse and neglect or food, whatever, going on in Broward than our circuit, or it's just about the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is pretty much the same. But there's one thing I learned, and I think it's going to help me working with Palm Beach and Broward, and that is they are single county circuits. Okay.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
while they're large urban, they're still single county. They have
Right.
one sheriff, one county commission, one school superintendent, one, whatever it is, one. Up here, I've been used to dealing with 4 different sheriffs, 4 different county commissions, et cetera. And if there's one thing I've learned over the years, and I think this has been very important to any success I might have had, and that is when I cross the line from St. Lucie County into Indian River County, and I'm going to attend meetings there or whatever with stakeholders, I have to take, if I take the St. Lucie County mindset into those meetings,
absolutely,
then they
you're
don't
done.
want to hear it.
No,
they don't, and it's
No.
understandable. Each county has its own specific needs, its own personality, and its own sense of pride in what they do and how they do it.
And what's important to them, their priority, all of that. I mean, people, and I sit around the table with the other 20,
Right.
the other 19
Right.
elected public defenders at meetings, and Palm Beach is much bigger than ours, but again, I don't want to hear the crying and whining. You got one sheriff, one police chief, one state attorney, one, and I got,
Right.
500. And they're all.
There's a lot of juggling going on.
Well, I kind of laugh. I say, and it's not the difference between Alabama, Florida, and California. It's the difference between the United States, China, because it's that diverse. And you nailed it, Vern. I mean, if you go in with the same the same Okeechobee attitude and bring it to Vero Beach, oh my gosh, forget it.
Or you talk about going out to Okeechobee, and I lived in Okeechobee for 20 years.
Right.
You go out there, and you talk about how it's done on the Treasure Coast.
Oh, no.
That is kind of a non-starter.
Yeah,
kind of thing. So, so once again, I think having that experience, sort of juggling multiple counties, is going to help me with Palm Beach and Broward.
Right.
Understanding that Palm Beach has its own
personality,
needs, priorities, and so does Broward.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh.
That's been my message. I've had an opportunity to meet with some of those stakeholders at countywide meetings a couple of times already, and that's sort of been my message.
Right.
I'm here to see what I can do as a DCF administrator to help y'all meet your needs.
Right.
That's essentially, I have a lot of experience from a lot of agencies, and I think that'll help.
Oh, my gosh.
But ultimately, it is, what are your needs, what are your priorities, and particularly as it relates to children and families, and what can we do with DCF to help y'all be successful?
Right. Well, there's got to be, although they may all be equal in issues, as far as one's not worse, if you will, than the other, they all have their unique issues. Just like,
Exactly.
Meth is running rampant in Okeechobee, and don't hear much about it over here. So those are the things.
Opioid crisis, particularly in Palm Beach County, it's drifting up here.
Right.
And it exists also in Broward, but particularly Palm Beach. So you're right.
Yeah.
Each community,
Is
each
different.
county community does have its specific challenges and successes.
Believe it or not, we are almost out of time. We've got I know. I got 42 more questions to ask you. But anyway, I figured, we almost had to change the show and everything. And I was like, no, if I don't get Vern now, once he gets into the thick of things, I'll never be able to get him back. So I'm so glad we have the opportunity.
Absolutely.
But how long, I know you can't really say specifically, but how long do you see yourself, if they love you and you love this, 10 years, 15 years? I mean,
Oh, no.
No.
No, there will not be a 10 or 15-year run this time around. But as to how long it will be, I really can't say at this point.
right. Right.
But it will not be a decade plus.
Well,
that's for sure.
You've got to be also looking, though, to be grooming someone so that the success continues, and that's got to, subtly be part of your job duties.
And there was a lot of I had a lot of success in that with the Guardian Ad Litem program.
Right.
If I could just mention that for
Sure,
a
please.
minute. A young man who was my assistant director for 3 years there, Paul Nigro.
Right.
And I want your viewers to get familiar with this name because I think he will be around for a long time. Paul is in his probably late 30s at this point. He started out as a volunteer with the Guardian Ad Litem program. He's been a case manager. He was my assistant director for 3 years. Paul and his wife have been foster parents. They've adopted.
Oh, my goodness. Talk about qualifications.
Paul has a master's in organizational leadership. He is currently participating in the state of Florida Certified Public Manager program. So just a very, very talented individual who will make a huge difference in the lives of children and families in this 4-county area for many years to come. I could not be happier with Paul succeeding me.
Wow.
It's transition with
In
not
good hands.
not a ripple.
Now,
Not a ripple.
how did that happen? The governor, was it a gubernatorial appointment? Or?
No. I had an assistant director position open 3 years ago.
Right.
Paul was one of the applicants.
Yeah.
And so I hired him at the time. And
So it's just automatic that he takes your...
no, I'm sorry. No, that was based on an appointment by our state director.
Oh, okay.
So he was.
Okay.
Yes.
So the state director would appoint your successor.
Correct.
Okay, and
Correct.
of course...
Correct, and he's already done that.
Right. And yeah, because he's the
done it.
man, right?
He's the man.
Yeah, that's the one I read
He's
about
the
in
man.
the email. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Paul
Okay.
Nigro. So be very nice to him and mentor him as much as you can. He's good people.
Oh, he'll be mentoring me, Every day, just yesterday, something happened, and I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and you just don't think you're going to learn anything. Not that you know it all. I mean, oh, my goodness, I say
Exactly.
I don't know. But you do, sometimes some of the things you do learn 26 years later,
Right.
you're astounded that you're learning them. This should not. I should have known this. After all, this should have been after the second year, not the 26th year, whatever. Well, Vern, I am delighted. I am so glad I got you today and got you on the show. And we were going to have you back and give us an update.
Absolutely.
And believe me, the children and families of those 3 circuits are blessed to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Diamond.